Hey everybody, Adam Phillips here for Dynamite Entertainment, and we are here today with writer Fred Van Lente coming back one more time with a new project we're very excited to talk about in a moment. Before we get into it, if you're watching at home, if you're watching on your phone, please hit the like button so we know you like these videos. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the Dynamite Entertainment channel and you won't miss any upcoming videos. So we're going to talk today, Fred, about Peter Cannon, Thunderbolt. So let's talk a little bit. This project starts in November, and it's the return of a really iconic character, martial arts craziness. What can you tell us? What do we need to know?
Well, I really enjoyed the Charlton comics, as a lot of people know. So Peter Cannon was this kid who was essentially orphaned and grew up in a religious institution of monks where he learned kung fu and mysticism. And I'm retaining all of that, but I'm actually kind of stripping him sort of more down to his roots, and that instead of being in the Himalayas, he's in a cult compound in upstate New York. My wife, who's a playwright, Crystal Skillman, does a lot of musicals, and believe it or not, she was working on a musical about cults.
Huh.
So we're reading a lot of cults. I've sort of always been fascinated by the subject. I did a con in Bangor, Maine, with a person who was later revealed to be a member of the Nexium cult. If you've seen the HBO show, The Vow.
Oh yeah.
That person was a member of that organization. And I remember talking to this person. We were on the same flight because they were going back to Albany, right, where Nexium was, and I was going back to New York City, but we were on the same flight, Bangor being a small place, and just talking about how, like, I only found out afterwards that what was being described to me was a cult. And so I was sort of fascinated by this, and it really kind of opened up this idea that Peter Cannon, there's a Jonestown-like incident at this kung fu camp run by this crazy Count Dante kung fu master, and everybody in the cult is supposedly killed who's there in this massacre, this Jonestown-esque massacre. But Peter Cannon survives. He trains himself basically at what remains of the compound and the master's videotape messages. And when he turns 18, he decides to leave the compound and go to New York City to avenge his family and the other people in the compound, because it turns out there was no like mass suicide. This cult leader, who is known as the Hooded One, killed them all and is, escaped the compound and enveloped himself into New York City high society and become sort of a guru for the 1%.
Man. Okay, and he's probably surrounded by, guards and things like that. And
exactly. And
Peter's got to get to him. I hear you.
Exactly. So it's sort of a kung fu thriller, conspiracy. It's very dark, but it's got a lot of heart, which sounds weird to say, but it's totally true. And it just was a blast to do. Because Peter Cannon, as I think many people watching this know, was the inspiration for Ozymandias in Watchmen. I think a lot of folks have sort of taken that take on him as being like a billionaire and sort of like a kung fu billionaire. That's how Matt Fraction used to describe Iron Fist. But I kind of wanted to, I don't know. It's not that I don't like rich people. I don't find stories about rich people super interesting. So I like stripping people down. So basically, Peter Cannon has to start from nothing and kind of shows up homeless in the streets of New York City and has to work his way up from there.
Oh, cool. And you got Jonathan Lau doing the art, and I assume there's like a lot of hitting, a lot of action.
Yeah, Jonathan crushed it. Like, I love one of my all-time favorite comic series, and it's also a martial arts series, was when Denny O'Neil and Dennis Cohen did The Question for DC.
Oh, sure.
I love that book, and one of the things that's striking about that book, other than Cohen's very distinctive art style, is the fact they chose not to use sound effects. And it sounds like silly, but like Jonathan, I think really it goes really well with his art. The fights are all very beautiful and kind of elegant, and without the sound effect, there's like a ballet kind of like quality to them, and they're really gorgeous to look at.
In issue 2, where the solicitation is going to break any day now for issue 2, and it mentions another Peter Cannon.
Yes.
What is going on there? How many Peter Cannons can we have?
Well, so the Hooded One, the cult leader, let's just say he takes on multiple identities.
Mm.
Another character, so many, we already mentioned Iron Fist and Ozymandias. There's a whole line of comic book characters who, got mystic powers, the Green Llama, right, who's on Project Superpowers. I
Yes.
did him in Dynamite. Another very famous character who got mystic powers from the Far East was the Shadow.
Oh yeah.
So he, of course, gained the power to cloud men's minds.
Hmm.
And so perhaps the Hooded One might be doing some mind clouding here.
Oh, sounds awesome. Well, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And anyone who's watching this, please stop by your local comic shop. The first issue hits in November, and you should tell the guy behind the counter that you want to get these issues as they're coming out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Ask politely, though.
Demand politely.
That's yes. Please, sir. I will die without my Peter Cannon Thunderbolt.
Yes. Anyway, Fred, great talking to you, and we look forward to seeing it as it comes out. Thanks so much.
No problem.
All right.